Hello and welcome to the Rose Rehash in Paradise. I'm Jared Freid. Every night after the Bachelor in Paradise, we come on here, we give the main theme of the show, we give out superlatives, and I give out some awards. If you have a question for the end of the episode, please tag me. Tag me. Let me know that you have a question. We'll answer it at the end of the show. Tag me in the comments. I want you to like, rate, review, subscribe to the channel. It all happens here. I need you to touch the video on YouTube. So subscribe, like, comment. Let me know if you agree, do you disagree. We'll start with our big theme of the night. This was a boring episode. This was a fine episode. Not a lot going on. You kind of had to look for a theme. If you're into talking about dating, then you might like tonight's episode. I put this down as the What Are We conversation episode. There were very different versions of the What Are We conversations going on. I do believe it is because the women held the roses. The women held the roses, so they were deeper into relationships. We're already a couple weeks in. They've formed relationships, and they want to know, is this going to happen or not? And it all starts with Kendall and Joe. Kendall looks at Joe. Joe tells Serena he's falling in love with her. Kendall pulls Joe aside and is like, what happened in our relationship from a year and a half ago? I thought that was a little bit nutso. The idea that Kendall came on this show to figure out closure, and then she got there and then didn't even pursue closure. She didn't even pursue it. She didn't go for it all the way. And she got there, she says, hey, butthead, and then all of a sudden fades to the background and is going for Ivan, kinda. Kendall, if you came on the show to try and resuscitate this old relationship, you should have gone straight for it. You should have pulled him aside from night one, but you kind of you played it halfway. And then she looks at Joe and she's like, I just don't, I still love you. You're still my best friend. She pulls out all the weapons that people pull out when they're getting a little bit desperate to bring someone back to them. And credit to Grocery Joe, he goes, I've moved on. I came here because I moved on, which is honest. He goes, I wouldn't have come here if I wasn't moved on from our relationship. And that, to me, is a hard thing to say, give him credit, but also what Kendall didn't do. Kendall wants a what are we conversation with someone that she was like, well, I'm here because I've moved on too. Be honest. Own your feelings. And that's kind of the theme of all these what are we conversations. People aren't owning their feelings, and they are. Let's look at Mari and Kenny. Mari owns her feelings. Mari is in kind of an uncomfortable situation. Kenny and her are dating. Kenny then gets the opportunity to leave her because she's like, I don't know, maybe we should date other people. Then he goes, fine, goes and bangs Demi, then turns down Demi, comes back to Mari. Mari, though, that's not like a love story. That's not like a beautiful love story that you're going to tell to your kids when they're growing up. But she did say she has owned her feelings the whole way. She's like, I like him. I have something here. And Kenny comes to her, which is interesting. Kenny, who's never said I loved you to anything but his dog, he says, is saying her, I do love you, because she is saying, I'm here. I am at I love you. I am at I am falling for you. I know you and Demi, banged 6 minutes ago, but I am still here. It's a very different thing than what Kendall did. Kendall, it took her 7 years to get to, here's where I am. She walks in, hey, butthead, I don't really care. Now I care because I see you in love with someone else and I'm going to lose you. The third what are we conversation was with Marissa and Riley. Now, Marissa and Riley have been hot and heavy. It seemed like they were fine. But what I noticed from Marissa is she starts to hint at, Riley isn't giving me enough. And to me, this is my assumption, Marissa felt that she was just getting physical with someone, that Riley and her were just hooking up, having fun. When they get home, it's a hookup that's having fun, and what will be will be. And Marissa didn't want that. Marissa wanted some sort of answer from Riley. And instead of saying, and you could see it, Marissa does the one-on-one interview where she starts to cry and she says, I don't want to hear the answer that I don't want to hear. So she takes every attempt at getting Riley to say it first so that she has the freedom to say, I love you. I do understand. If you look at dating culture, women are asked about their relationships so much more than men. So I do understand the social societal things that you would be worried about embarrassing yourself, where Riley's not worried about any embarrassment. Riley's hooking up, having fun, falling for a girl, and we'll see what happens when we get home. And if someone says, "Did you meet anyone?" He goes, "Yeah, but it didn't work out." And people go, "Cool." Marissa has different stakes, and I get that, and that's why she's so afraid. Marissa looks at Riley, and she plays this kind of dirty. Damar and Ed show up, and she immediately goes off with Damar. If the gender roles were reversed, we would look at Riley and be like, "What a dick." The minute a woman shows up after you've been banging and licking whipped cream off each other, you're like, "Well, I'm going to go check out this person because I've been obsessed with them forever and I was hoping they would get here." Even Marissa saying, "I wanted you to get here." And then later, Marissa's next to Riley, and she says, she starts comparing other people's connections to her and Riley and basically downing her own connection because she's trying to hint, tell me you like me so that I can be free to like you so I don't get embarrassed. And it's a little bit, to me, there's a healthy way to do it. There's an unhealthy way to do it. And the healthy way, as weird as it sounds, is Mari's way. Even though I don't think their relationship is like the most beautiful Cinderella relationship, but at least Mari's going, "I like you. This is what I'm willing to look bad. I'm willing to get embarrassed." Let's go to our superlatives. Now we're gonna start with the the host with the most. Now, I think Lil Jon has been interesting. We're not getting a lot of Lil Jon, but it is interesting that I know Lil Jon for what? Yeah. Okay. And Lil Jon comes on, and he is actually the most, into this show of all the guest hosts. He comes on, he starts in the beginning, he's like, "I want to add drama," and he brings in two guys. But then towards the end, he's like, he starts questioning him a little bit. Lil Jon does seem to be a fan of this show, and it was kind of cool to see him in this whole new light that I'd never thought of him other than just screaming over songs and a Dave Chappelle bit. Let's go to hottest on the island. The most eligible, I gotta say, Mari on the taco date. Mari's a babe, my God. But you could tell. I'll give it to Mari, but also Ed and Damar came in, and everyone reacted to them as if no one else on the beach had muscles. It was kind of bizarre. And I understand they might be muscly dudes, but like, there's a whole lot of muscly dudes here. Like, it wasn't like the idea that they showed up to a Weight Watchers convention was really a bizarre thing. They are good looking. They're good looking dudes. Damar, I couldn't believe the height he had. He was taller than Chelsea when they went on the date. So I will say Damar and Ed really shocked people with their muscles. Mari on the taco date, I was like, "Kenny, good for you." All right, let's go to the class clown. I gotta hand it to Tia. Tia, listening to her vagina for answers. Tia and her vagina are like a buddy sitcom at this point. The way she describes her vagina is if they hang out, arm around each other. She's like, "What do you think, vagina? Should I go for this guy?" And it's like, I also thought it was funny that she's sitting there going, "I'm going to pick Blake." And again, this is someone else who wanted answers from the guy without stating where they are. Tia likes Blake. Tia's into Blake. She wants him to assure her instead of her owning her own standard, owning her feelings because she's worried of getting embarrassed and sending someone home who does like her. But Tia, you already said it. Your vagina doesn't tickle from James. Send him away. Don't convince your vagina. Your vagina's sitting there being like, "You think James?" And she's like, "Well, he is trying." And the vagina's like, "Who gives a shit, bitch? I'm dry." So it was just another example of kind of the theme of tonight's episode. The couple of the night, it's got to be Joe and Serena. Joe went definitive. You know how many women out there in the world would love a definitive guy to be like, to look at their ex and be like, "I am done with you. I am with you. And Joe did that, and it's seemingly him and Serena are the strongest couple on the beach. Let's give out some awards. The batches where I give coconuts to my favorites and crabs to my least favorites.
Ouch.
We'll start with the coconuts. First coconut goes to Joe. Grocer Joe. Hard conversation with Kendall, and he said it as explicitly as it could get. I came here because I have moved on from our relationship. No, we could be friends still. No, I'll check you out on Instagram. No, fire emoji in response to her Instagram stories. Kendall, you came to the island for closure, and I think you got it as the door has been closed as much as it can. It's sad. I understand anyone watching that could be like, this is uncomfortable or feel a certain way because they have a similar relationship with someone else out there. But Joe closed the door, and there has to be credit given. The next coconut is going to go to Chelsea. I love Chelsea. I loved her in this episode. I love that she's playing the game. She got there late. That's how she has to play it. It stinks for Chelsea because she got there late, and now she has to play the game that got to be played kind of on week 1 and week 2. So her and Aaron go on a date, and they're fine. To be honest, her and Aaron didn't have a lot of chemistry, it seemed. They didn't even French kiss. They just did pecks. And then Ivan comes over, and Chelsea does what I loved about what Chelsea did. She looked at Ivan. She goes, have you ever even thought of me in this way? She's getting answers right away. She knows her time is limited. And she's looking to play and see what's out there. Good for Chelsea, not turning things down, understanding. And I think it's even harder for Chelsea because when your surroundings are everyone's on, month 2 of their love affair, and you're on month 1, you sometimes rush ahead. She didn't. She kept it. Got holding hands with Ivan. I loved it. The last coconut's going to go to James. I just like that James has now become this sidekick to everybody. He is Aaron's sidekick, and I like the way at every scene he's kind of a pot stirrer. He'll see going on. He's always the one like, they're dating? Who? Really? And he doesn't strike you as that type of guy, but he's now become the beach gossip. He's sitting there with Aaron, and he's like, hey, seems like a rose chaser to me. He reminded me of the sidekick from Karate Kid when he's like, put him in a body bag, Johnny. Like, I thought that was very James this episode, and I enjoyed it. Let's give out some crabs. The first crab is going to go to the producers.
Ouch.
So a storm is heading towards the beach. The producers are come out because, first of all, there's no host. They're not going to send Lil Jon out to warn everyone to go pack because there's a hurricane coming. So the producers have to come out, and they're like, hey, everybody. They do the worst job I have ever seen of keeping a group of people calm I have ever seen. They did the worst job I have ever seen of keeping a group calm. They come out, they go, okay, there's a storm coming, and nobody panic, but we need you to pack right away and hurry up because it's a tornado and it's going to kill you all. And you're like, producers, like, really? Like, this is how you direct the group? How about a little bit of a calming? Like, the producers acted as if the storm was going to be there in 10 seconds. And it was like the Titanic was sinking. And they're like, okay, women and children first. All the men are going to die. And it's like, relax. We have time to get off of this beach. The next crab is going to go to Kenny. Kenny is ready to bail on this relationship at any time. First of all, the producers come down. They freak out. They're like, a storm's coming. You got to get the fuck out of here. And then Kenny looks at Mari and is like, we might not ever see each other again. It's like, Kenny, you just told her you loved her. You just said you're the first person I've said I love you to other than my dog. And now a storm comes, a little sprinkle, some drizzle comes, and you go, who knows if we'll ever see each other again. You have a phone. She has a phone. You're leaving the beach. You're going to see each other. It looked like Kenny would bail on this one. Kenny is so afraid of commitment that he's like, I think there's a cloud. We may never see each other again. This storm is going to wash us away. The last crab goes to tacos as a naked food.
Ow!
Tacos should not be eaten off of someone's body. Nobody wants black beans in their anus. Nobody wants sour cream licked off of them. Nobody wants guac in their earlobe. It was a disgusting food to have on the bodies. Sushi, I get it. It's the clean fish. It's a little piece. It's a little rice. You can wipe it off. You're good. A taco, nobody wants pastor carne asada on their nipple. Nobody wants to put grilled chicken all over their chest to be licked off of them. I mean, it's not even. Imagine getting in bed after with someone who had the food all over them. It's not like they're like, let me go take a shower, let me go to bed. No, then they're getting in bed together, smelling like someone. Honestly, they must have smelled like barf after someone's like 21st birthday. Like that's what a taco after hours and hours on your body would smell like. Let's go to some audience questions. Do we have any audience questions? Are you team Ivan or Aaron? I'm team Ivan. I thought Aaron's response was childish, immature. I mean, he's using the word bitch in a way that feels kind of uncomfortable. Ivan's playing the game. Chelsea went with him willingly. Chelsea held his hands too. It's not like Chelsea was like, ew, get away. They made out. Aaron, you lost, big dog. Let's do another one. Do you think Chelsea's actually into Ivan or just didn't know how to let him down easy? In what world did she look like she was uninterested? I think Chelsea's there to have fun. I think she's there to meet different guys. I think she got there late. Why should she have to match up with Aaron just because Tammy went and made out with Thomas and then got dumped by him for someone with more Instagram followers? Chelsea deserves to play this game as much as anyone else on that beach. And to me, it seemed like she asked the right questions, as I said earlier in the show. Let's do it. Is there a chance for Dr. Joe and Natasha? I like them. No. Over. Natasha said it. They got to the end of the date. He's best friends with Brendan. She said even again on this episode, it got awkward. There's no sex appeal there. There's no connection. Her and Ed, to me, Natasha looked excited to be in a sexy beach time makeout. It felt like that. She even said, she's like, finally, paradise is amazing. And I think that was less about Ed and more about having this sexy beach time that she didn't get with Joe. My fiance wants to know how many couples have farted in front of each other on the beach. I would assume that there's a lot of farting going on. I would assume, ironically, the boom boom room during the day would be the best place to fart on the beach because no one's going to be there. It gets cleared out. You would hope it gets cleaned, but the boom boom room is secluded. So if I were on the beach, I would be going to the boom boom room to fart during the day and then towards the water to fart at night because then maybe someone would think it was fish or seaweed. That's our episode. Back next week. Boom.